In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. We will continue with the Quran class, but before we resume the Quran class, I had mentioned to you, as we were explaining the last prophetic saying that we discussed, which talked about people passing over the bridge that is set over the fire of hell leading to paradise. And this is the bridge that is crossed based upon, people are able to cross it based upon their deeds, their belief and their deeds in this life. Those who have the best deeds cross it in the fastest and most swift manner. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he described that, he said, He said that the fastest people who pass, he said, فَيَمُرُّ أَوَّلُكُمْ كَالْبَرْقِ. The fastest people will cross this bridge as fast as lightning. But then a companion asked him, what do you mean by as fast as lightning? The messenger, peace be upon him, responded, أَلَمْ تَرَوْا إِلَى الْبَرْقِ كَيْفَ يَمُرُّ وَيَرْجِعْ فِي طَرْفَةِ عَيْنٍ. Don't you see the lightning strike as it passes and then returns in a blink of an eye? Now, so this is the part I talked about before, that the lightning strike described in this prophetic saying is that it passes, it means goes from the cloud to the earth and then returns back. Now, has anybody who's seen lightning noticed this path going down and return again? Has anybody seen it actually or been able to observe it? No. Have you seen lightning before?
No.
Exactly. You cannot see that. But this is something they discovered recently with slowing down, with very slow motion cameras, where they slowed the event to a great degree. That is when they can actually see that the lightning goes down and then this ascends up again, and actually the strongest, the brightest flash that you see is not when it comes down, it's actually when it goes up again. I actually sent you these things, Abdul Nasser, but let me see it in my phone here, because I think I still have it on. I should have it because I sent it to you. Just want to show you this piece. Yes, it reads, how fast is lightning? It says here, in a typical lightning flash, a charged channel, the first channel going down, they call it the stepped leader because it happens first. Stepped leader drops down from the cloud at about, what's the speed? 200,000 miles per hour. And then it says when it reaches the ground, the channel discharges upwards. So after it reaches, it then goes upwards at about 200 million miles per hour. Huh?
That's not good.
Yes. It goes down at 200,000, goes up at 200 million miles per hour in a brilliant flash. The flash that you see is not it coming down, it's going up again. So, if you're trying to avoid it, by the time you see the flash, it's too late. You've already been struck by the first one. If you see the flash, then you're gone. So it says here, by 200,000 miles per hour in a brilliant flash, called the return stroke. So the first one's called stepped leader, the upward called the return stroke. It all happens in a very small fraction of a second. A very small fraction of a second. So this is what I was trying to mention, that so of course this is not a discovery, or the first one I heard talking about this as a miracle of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in how he very accurately and scientifically described the lightning when nobody knew that this is how the lightning behaves. Nobody knew that. We needed very sophisticated equipment to discover this. And actually, I did send you an actual. I sent you this one. Yeah, this is how it goes. It goes down initially. I'm not sure if you guys can see. There's a down stroke, and then it goes upwards again. This is in very slow motion. The image is slowed down so much that the one that you see, this is the upward flash. You see something going down, and then you see an upward flash, but this is slow motion. So I wanted to mention that because this is definitely another miracle, and it just so happened that the two last prophetic sayings we read, each one of them had a scientific miracle, which shows that scientific miracles are not only in the Quran, but also in the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And if the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad was not accurately preserved, then these things would have been lost. Like for the companion to describe it, because he described it as in the same wording that the Prophet described it, although this is not what he sees. This is not what he sees with his eyes, right? And that is why when the Prophet Muhammad encouraged people to deliver his words to the following generations, he says, "Nadar Allahum ra'an," which means may Allah beautify the face of the person. Nadar Allahum ra'an sami'a maqalati, who hears my words. فوعاها, then he understands it. ثم أداها كما سمعها, then he delivers it in the same manner, not that he understood it, but he says in the same manner that he heard it. So he described the person transmitting his sayings. He says he's making a supplication, invocation for this person. Nadar Allah means to beautify the face, but also Nadar Allah means min al-nadara, to enrich that person, to make his life easy. Because when the life is easy, you can see that on the face. وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة. In paradise, Allah described the faces as ناظرة, the same root. نضر الله امرأ سمع مقالتي, he hears the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. فوعاها, he understands it. ثم أداها, delivered it. He didn't say كما وعاها, he delivers it just as he heard it, not as he understood it. You follow? No. So he tries his best to deliver it as he heard it. We've gone for 7 minutes. Maybe we can go for 3 or 4 more minutes. This is just to conclude that last hadith, because I wanted to verify that. I heard it, and I wanted to make sure that this is actually accurate. But I know this scholar Abdul Daim al-Kuhail, I think he's Syrian. Is he Lebanese or Syrian? Do you know? Syrian, yeah. He's from accent, I can tell he's Syrian. I've never actually, I've reviewed multiple things that he said, many things even that sound strange to me. I review them and I find that he's very accurate in what he brings, and he also always brings accurate studies when he discusses a subject. We had reached verse, I think, number 123 in the Quran, in the second chapter of the Quran, the chapter of the cow, Surah Al-Baqarah. Basically, we discussed yesterday that the verse that says الذين آتيناهم الكتاب يتلونه حق تلاوته أولئك يؤمنون به وما يكفر به فأولئك هم الخاسرون, which means those who have been given the book and they recite it in the proper manner, those are the people who believe in it, and while those who disbelieve in it are the ones who are the losers. And then we commented on يتلونه حق تلاوته. Tilawa means to follow. Tilawa means to follow, and it also means to recite, because recitation includes that each word follows the previous word, and each letter follows the previous letter. والقمر إذا والنهار إذا جلاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها. Talaha means the moon follows the sun, means it's dependent on the sun. It's dependent on the sun in many aspects. It follows, the sun is the center, while the moon follows the sun. Also, the light of the moon is not intrinsic; it is a reflection. The light of the moon follows the light of the sun as well. So this is the meaning of talaha. It means that those people who recite the book with sincerity and with understanding, and with the intention to follow and apply, to follow the truth, those are the people who end up following and accepting the prophethood of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Because these verses were talking about the people of the previous books. If they actually recite their books with sincerity and open-mindedness, leaving away all these wrong preconceived ideas that were delivered to them by their leaders, and just focus on reading the book with an open mind and with an intention of reaching the truth, they will also end up leading to accepting the Prophet Muhammad as a true messenger. But this also applies to even Muslims who read the book. الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابَ can apply to the people of the book, but can also apply to the Muslims as well, because we have also received the book, right? Allah here didn't specify the name of the people who are given the book. He didn't say the Jews or the Christians. He says those who have been given the book. So it may also apply to us. Then the following verse basically concludes this long discussion that Allah had with the people of the book, especially the Jews, where many verses, maybe close to maybe 70 or 60 or 70 verses, I think they were close to maybe 78 or something like this, concludes that section with the same way that Allah started that section. يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأني فضلتكم على العالمين. The exact same wording, this same verse. That's how the discussion started, and that's how Allah concluded the discussion with the people of the book. Because now the Surah Al-Baqarah is going to transition to other subjects and to addressing other people. Actually, the following address will focus on Prophet Abraham, as being the father of the Arabs, because the Arabs also revered Ibrahim, and they said that they are followers of Abraham. Even the pagans at the time, they also respected and revered the Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail, and they knew that they were the descendants of Abraham and Ishmael. And at the same time, also the people of the book, they attribute themselves also to Abraham. That's why all these faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, sometimes people collectively call them as Abrahamic faiths, right? So that is why Allah, after this verse specifically, in verse 124, وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ, Allah talks about Abraham and how he fulfilled Allah's commandments. That is to motivate, because Allah is wanting to bring all these people who are differing. Everyone is happy with the way that they've adopted in life, to worship Allah with the way that they've adopted, although the ways that they have adopted are wrong. The pagans were worshipping idols, and they think that they are actually pleasing Allah, because they're taking these idols as intermediaries to bring them closer to Allah, because they consider those idols as symbols for angels, and that the angels, they consider them as the daughters of Allah. So we're only trying to worship Allah through these intermediaries. That's how they thought. مَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ إِلَّا لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفَى. They said we only worship them so that they bring us closer to Allah. So Allah was their final aim. To worship Allah was their final aim. Same as for the people of previous scriptures, they say that, we are also wanting to follow the way of Abraham. So Allah is talking to them about who Ibrahim really was, and what his real faith was, and how he really behaved. If you really want to follow Abraham, this is who Abraham was. So inshallah, we will talk about that in some other classes.